and welcome to Psalmic Saturday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga, and we are streaming live right here on YouTube. Moderating for us today are the lovely Shirley and the lovely Honeypaw. Thank you so much, moderators. And thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We do have a premiere at 11 a.m. Pacific, just over 40 minutes from now. And you can hang out through the end of the exit music of this stream, and that'll dump you right into either a link to that page or the page itself, depending on the type of device you're watching on. Our website is located at arielscorner.com, arielscorner.com. Check out all of our free courses, free booklets, free lectures, free guided meditations, etc. We also have a podcast hub, which makes it a little easier to find the lectures and videos that you're looking for. And you can find that by going to arielspodcasts.com, arielspodcasts.com. We are also including transcripts of all the lectures in that hub. So all the new videos already have them, and we're going back as I have time to put the transcripts in the older videos as well. Our shop is located at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com. I have coffee in this, so I don't think you can sort of see it, but this is my new mug that I just bought off of our shop, and that's the Black Cat mug. I love it. We have a bunch of mugs. We have several t-shirts, hoodies. We just put out a Sexy Lucifer mug and a Sexy Lucifer t-shirt for those of you who are into Sexy Lucifer. And let's see. Something else I wanted to tell you about the shop. Oh, it must not have been that important. But anyway, check it out, arielscornershop.com. If you'd like to donate to this channel, you can do that by going to paypal.me/arielgatoga, paypal.me/arielgatoga. If you're on YouTube live, you could use a super sticker or super chat if you feel like giving a donation on the platform, or if you're on a restream, you could use a super thanks. Whatever it is that you use, we do appreciate your support, and we appreciate you being here today. I think I did everything. Oh yeah, no, forgot. We do have a chat thread going on this stream. And you probably already see it, but just in case you don't notice it, you can open that chat thread if you want to be involved in conversations. And you don't have to chat about what we're doing on the video. You can have any kind of conversation that you want. If it's too distracting for you, you can just close the chat and get back to the video. But if you do have any questions for me personally, you can put them right in that chat thread. I will be able to get to them before the end of the stream because this is a very small, short psalm today. So I can't imagine that I'll go on and on too long, but you never know with me. I do have a habit of going on and on. But I'll do my best to keep some time in case we do have questions. And you don't have to only have questions about the psalm that we're doing. You can have a question about anything that I teach. I don't always have the answers, but if I do, I'm happy to share them with you. All right, I think I did it. Let's get going. All right. Today we are working Psalm 14. In traditional psalm magic, we use Psalm 14 frequently for spiritual growth, for protection from all misfortune, to stop libel or slander, to soften stubborn people, and to renew faith that the universe is unfolding as it should. And I'm going to gear today's psalm toward having any outcome. To have any outcome in your life unfold in the highest way possible. The way we work psalm magic is simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm in question and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. We call this recitation an incantation in psalm magic. After we've done that, we go back through the psalm and we consider each verse in turn, and we search for hidden, occult meanings that lie within the psalm. You don't have to worry about whether you're good at that or not, whether you think you're good at that or not. Just the act of doing it is building muscle that's necessary for whatever the magic is that you've brought to the psalm. These are spells. Each psalm is like a spell, is a magic spell, the way we use them. And all you do is you dig and search to the best of your ability for hidden seeds of magic, wisdom, understanding. And then you apply whatever your situation is that you've brought to the psalm, whatever you're casting your spell for, you apply those seeds of magic to that situation. And it's through this digging, searching, and application that you are planting those seeds of magic in the fertile grounds of your mind, where they take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear witness after their kind. I didn't even have my normal, I just did the overhead, I'm sorry. Well, hopefully that's not too boring for you. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, aren't I supposed to press a button? No, you started with the button, Ariel. Let's take that again. They take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that's exactly what you and I are going to do together right now with Psalm number 14. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread and call not upon the Lord? There were they in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. O that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. This is one of the few psalms in the book of Psalms that never invokes, never addresses the Lord. It's all the inner guide, the inner teacher. The psalmist here is speaking as your inner guide or your inner teacher, giving you instruction. So these kinds of psalms, as rare as they are, have a very special sort of magic. And so we want to really look under and behind the words and try to find what it is that this teacher is trying to tell you about whatever the situation is that you've brought to the psalm. It doesn't matter what your situation is. There is a perfect resolution for that situation. And we're going to allow that to become apparent to us. Starting with, the fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. Now the fool is the ego mind. And the ego mind is that part of ourselves that doesn't seek for the infinite, that doesn't think that there is anything outside of our own little closed system. And the reason why they are foolish, those that do that, the reason why the ego is a fool, is because that is an erroneous thought. In fact, that thought is the beginning of all problems. Any problem that you have is based upon this thought that I'm alone and I alone have to understand and fix and challenge and get what I need. I alone have to do whatever it is that needs to be done in order to fix this problem or to have the outcome that I desire. And when we feel that we're separate from this source and that we are all alone and that the responsibility is on our shoulders, that is the height of arrogance. And this thought, this idea, I am separate and I have to do it myself, is the basis of all ego. And it's not that the ego's evil and needs to be destroyed. It's very important that we understand that. It's not that there's some destructive force within us that needs to be combated. It's just that there's this idea that's not true that has built up an entire world for us. So the world that is based upon the ego and all of our experiences that are based upon the ego are based upon a lie, and therefore those experiences aren't real either. So it's not that the ego is evil, it's that the ego is nothing. And we have to alert ourselves to the idea that rather than putting our faith in nothing, it is now time to wake up from being foolish and put our faith in the infinite that already has this issue handled, whatever it is. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. So these are the fools. These are the egos. So it's talking to us personally. Now we have to take this personally, or it's not going to help us in this situation. If we think, yeah, those people that are such fools that do that, aren't they awful? Aren't they abominable? That's not helpful to us right now, because it's not their problems that we're trying to solve. We're trying to solve our problem, whatever it is. And so we have to take this to heart, that those ideas of the ego are corrupt and abominable, and there is none that do good. There's nothing good about the ego because it's not real. So when you have this understanding that everything that comes out of the idea of I am separate, I have to alone handle my life, and that there is no help, there is no infinite, there is no higher power, anything that comes out of that is a lie. And it is abominable because it's the seat of all your problems. It is the seed of all your problems. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. When it says that God looked down from heaven, that's an ancient understanding that heaven was in the sky. But in reality, we understand that heaven is inside of us. It is where we exist already as souls. It's where we're sleeping and having this dream that we're having this problem. So the infinite is looking out to see, is anybody awake yet? Is anybody awake yet? And when you understand that, you can ask the infinite to help you wake up to the truth, help you wake up to whatever is the solution to this problem, and allow it to be done for you. And so many times, especially in magic, people think that that's just blasphemous, that we would ask some higher power to do something for us because it's all about us. It's all about our power. And that's the type of sorcery that we want to give up. This idea that it's all my responsibility. It's all on my shoulders. If I created this issue for myself, then I have to fix it myself. Or if I've been victimized and I had nothing to do with this issue, it's up to me to defend myself. And all of that is under the heading of corrupt and abominable works. Understanding that there's no reason for us to struggle with this problem. There's absolutely no reason to do that because the infinite has already solved it. Think about a math problem. 2 plus 2 already has the solution. It's 4. Now, if you don't understand the formula of how to get 2 plus 2 equals 4, it's not that you have to create the answer. You don't want to create your own answer and say, well, I say my truth is that 2 plus 2 equals 12. That's my truth. You don't want your truth. You want the truth with a capital T. And the same is true for this. Whatever your problem is, whatever the outcome that you desire is, there is already a way for that to happen. And you delay by saying, no, I'll do it. I want to do it. I know what's best for me. They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. Nothing good comes from a lie. Let's just stay with the analogy of math. If you've come to believe that 2 + 2 = 12, nothing in your life is going to work out in regards to equations that involve 2 + 2 =. And if you've done that for everything, according to this, it's all of your knowledge from the ego is filthy, meaning incorrect. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. There is not one correct answer in the ego. It's made it all up. Not one thing it's come up with is correct. So it's up to us to say, I give up the entire thought system and I ask for correction. I want to have you correct my math problem for me so that it's the right answer, so that I get what I want. And it's literally as simple as the teacher coming up to the board and erasing your answer and putting the right answer up there and showing you how that works, showing you how the formula works. And that's exactly what the infinite wants to do for us in regards to whatever we brought this problem, whatever problem we brought to this psalm, is to correct the answer and show us how it works. But until we are willing to give up our need to be right about 2 + 2 = 12, until we are willing to give up that, it's just a matter of the infinite waiting for us. So the way out of the problems is to start with the assumption that everything I've been taught in this world is wrong. Everything I know is wrong. And that is so liberating when we realize that. My ego mind has given me nothing but incorrect answers all my life. And other egos have conspired to give each other incorrect answers, and on it goes. And if it were up to us to find our way out of that, we would be doomed. But it's not up to us, because we're just sleeping in heaven, according to this. We're just asleep in heaven. The infinite's waiting for us to wake up. And in the meantime, what we do is within the dream, we say, I don't know what anything means. I don't know what anything means, but I want to be shown. So with that, whatever this problem is, or this desire, whatever you've brought to the psalm that you want that perfect outcome about, you have to first say, I don't know what this or anything else means. I don't really understand the problem, therefore I can't find the solution, but I'm willing to learn. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread and call not upon the Lord? So the workers of iniquity is the ego mind, and it has no knowledge. It doesn't know anything. It doesn't know jack. It's completely making it up. It's total insanity. Day's night, the sky is red. Everything that we think we know about ourselves and the universe is nonsense, because we've listened to all of this stuff from the ego all of our whole lives. So no, they have no knowledge. Who eat up my people as they eat bread. That's the ego, eating up the infinite's people as we would eat bread. In other words, the ego's consumed our attention. Thinking of eating, think of that as consuming. We are all consumed by the seemingly unsolvable problems that the ego presents us with, so that we can have a non-stop ride on a carousel that goes nowhere, always with a carrot before our noses, chasing after something that either we can't get or won't make us happy. So that's, have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread and call not upon the Lord, and call not upon the Lord. See, if we called upon the infinite instead of our ego, none of this would be happening. But we think we should know everything. We think we do know everything. So our highest thought, according to this psalm, is looking at anything that we're dealing with and saying, I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand this. This is all based on 2 + 2 = 12, which I'm now understanding is incorrect. I want the infinite to erase that answer and put the right answer there instead. They were there in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. So the ego does fear the infinite, and that is the seat of fear. And when we are experiencing fear, we know that we are listening to the voice of the ego, not to the voice of spirit, because the voice of spirit is always the antidote to fear. So letting fear be the barometer there. If we're experiencing fear, we're listening to the wrong voice. We're listening to the voice that's trying to convince us something is real that isn't real. And we want instead to just be clear, I don't understand this. The reason I'm afraid is because I don't understand it. But the infinite does. And I want the infinite to show me the truth instead of me making it up. Now, the generation of the righteous is any moment in time. And the only generation, and the generation of the righteous is and the generation of the righteous is the present moment, because that's where righteousness thrives. That's where righteousness lives, in the present moment. The ego does not live where the righteous lives. So the ego lives in the past and in the future. The ego either regrets the past or somehow has us ruminating over the past or considering the past, not existing in the present moment, or worrying usually about the future or planning the future. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Again, talking about that ego mind, that idea that I'm separate, that whole idea that I'm all by myself and that there is no God. So ye have shamed the counsel of the poor. Now, the counsel of the poor is the poor in spirit. That's the same thing as the meek. That's the same thing as the righteous. It's not that poor means that you should have a vow of poverty and that you can't have any money in order to be righteous. The poor means not thinking for yourself, not thinking all by yourself, thinking in conjunction with the infinite, thinking with wisdom rather than with arrogance. Because the Lord is his refuge. And it's just so simple when you realize that, it's just a matter of changing my orientation. I'm not thinking for myself anymore. I'm allowing the Lord to be my refuge. I'm allowing the infinite to be my refuge. Whatever the problem is, it's got the solution. Wherever I'm unsafe, it's got my protection. Wherever I'm poor, it's got my prosperity. Wherever I'm sick, it's got my healing. Whatever it is, it's the Lord that is already filled with the answer, whatever it is that you need. It already knows the answer to the equation. The ego doesn't know anything except for what it makes up. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. Such a powerful verse to sum all of this up and to just, it's almost like snapping your fingers or twitching your nose, and now it's going to happen. It says, oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. The salvation of Israel is the solving of your problem. You are Israel. You are Israel. That is your soul's name. And when it says come out of Zion, that means that you go up that hill in your mind and you make connection with the infinite rather than chatting with your ego about the problem, conspiring with your ego, trying to fix it yourself. Oh, that the salvation of Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. That's the trick. That's twitching your nose right there. That's blinking your eyes, snapping your fingers. That's the puff of smoke. That's where all the fairy dust is when you turn from the ego and you climb up in consciousness and you close your eyes and you close your mind and you sit in silence with the infinite takes care of it for you. And that's where the salvation comes from, meaning the solving of your problem or the manifestation of your goal, whatever it is that you brought to the psalm. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. You are captive by your ego. You're being held captive by your ego. But the good news about that is that you're being held captive because you're allowing it. It's happening because you say so. You say yes. So you can change your mind and you can move from ego orientation to spirit orientation at any moment. And the trick is to stay there, is to recognize those temptations of the ego thought system as what they are and say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to stay focused on the spirit. That's how the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, is through your attention on the infinite. The infinite can't force you into anything. But as soon as you turn to the infinite and ask that it be so, the infinite grants it to you. And that's what the infinite wants, is for you to be happy. And so when all that happens, and it says, when the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. Now, all the characters that are in any mythology, if they are to be powerful, are aspects of you. They are all you. I don't care what book you're reading. So in this regard, Jacob is you and Israel is you. In the story, Jacob was a beast of a person sometimes. Very self-serving, very deceptive, very conniving, very selfish, very covetous, just not a nice person. Just completely beholden to his ego. So that's the part of our own minds that cause us problems. We think we're doing something good by taking care of things all by ourselves and doing things all by ourselves. But the character in that Bible, Jacob, did that and was never happy. Was never ever happy, but always thinking for themselves, thinking for himself, thinking for himself. Then one day, he decided he needed a blessing from the infinite. And in his very violent way, started to wrestle with the angel. Started wrestling with the angel. But that was good, because that was something that the infinite could use. So even though it was a bully trying to bully God into giving him what he wanted, at least he was turning to God instead of himself. And so the infinite used that for his benefit. And that angel, some people in the angelic tradition say that angel was Samael, but it doesn't really matter. That angel wasn't going to get beaten up by Jacob, but used that as sort of a sparring partner to get Jacob's mind focused in the right way. And when Jacob's mind got focused in the right way, God didn't say, now you've done so many horrible things, you're going to have to go to hell, and none of that. God was like, oh, finally, finally, you're waking up. Since you are waking up, I'm going to rename you. You're no longer Jacob, you are now Israel. So this is a type of initiation in this story, and this is what you're going through. This particular problem that you want to find a solution for is a spiritual initiation. It seems to you like it's just a problem that needs to be solved. And like Jacob, the infinite will say, fine, we'll use that. We'll use it. Of course, we're going to solve this problem, but this is much bigger than what you think it is. Because you are moving out of, I can do it myself, and into, I want a blessing. Even if you do it by wrestling with the angel, they'll use that for your benefit, because at least you're going to the right source for your help. And once that happens, you are renamed, which is what happens when you get an initiation very frequently. And well, not all traditions, but many magical traditions, when you are initiated, you have a magical name or motto that you adopt. In this case, it went from Jacob to Israel. It doesn't matter if you have an actual name change. That's all symbolic. It's that you're going from ego to soul, from Jacob to Israel, from ego to soul. And that's exactly what this whole psalm is helping you understand. Not only are you going to, yes, definitely get this issue handled, but as a result of getting this issue handled, you are being initiated and you are becoming soul identified instead of ego identified. So just keep coming back to this psalm every day until you get a sense that things are working out. It doesn't matter what you see in the physical world. What matters is how you feel. So you should get a sense of peace and certainty that things are working out. And once you get that, you know that your spell has been cast and you don't have to cast it anymore. You can just let go of the issue and move on to something else and know that the manifestation is on its way. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Until next time, blessed be. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Ba-dum-bum-bum. These people all across YouTube claim to be one of the 144,000 and chosen ones. Oh, there's numerology involved in that. And there's also just the idea, because back then, 144,000 people seemed like a lot when that was written. That seemed like a lot of people. They had no idea of millions and billions and things like that, what we have today, of big numbers. There are no separate souls in regards to who gets to wake up. It's not like the infinite is like, oh no, heaven's really small, and so most of you are going to stay asleep, but a few of you get to awaken, and the rest of you just have to keep having this nightmare. It doesn't make any sense. So people can claim anything they want to, but the truth of the matter is that when you awaken to who you are, then you are one of those so-called 144,000 people. It's just the people that are awake versus the people that are asleep. You're already, quote, in heaven. You can't leave heaven. Nobody can. I don't care what any theology teaches. I don't care what any book tells you. Everybody is already where they're supposed to be. It's just that we're asleep and we're dreaming and we're having nightmares that we are not that, and we're doing other things with our minds. And that's what that whole ego mind is about. But remember what we said earlier is that the ego is a nothing. It's not a something. And so when we awaken and we recognize that there was never anything going on that we had to fear, and that everything that we experienced here that was tragic and painful and bad was a nightmare and it didn't really happen, then that's the rejoicing that we experience. And we realize that all of our loved ones, everybody that we love, are already healed, are already happy. Everybody's in harmony, and that's the truth of the matter. And that's already happening. But unfortunately, for most of us, that's an alternate reality that we're not awake to yet. So the idea that there's certain people that get to be in heaven and certain people that are going to be left behind, that's a very ego thought. It's very non-God. It's very the opposite. It's completely the opposite of what love is. It's just silly as far as I'm concerned. If the infinite that you refer to is part of this illusion, or is it truth itself? The infinite is truth itself. And the infinite can use the illusion to help us wake up if we ask for it, if we allow it. But we have been given free will. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to be in this, but you do. You do. You do on some degree, because there are certain things that you're not willing to give up. And so that's why it's such a this lesson of this psalm is so amazing, that if you just assume that you don't understand what anything is, if you just assume that you're wrong, then you're starting from wisdom. And that makes, in Buddhism, they call that the Zen mind, makes your mind like an empty rice bowl. Then, or like Jesus said, become like a little child. A little child knows that they don't know anything. They're like, what is this? What is that? And that's what we want to be. We want to be, what is this? What is that? I don't know. I think I know, but that's just based on what the ego's told me. I don't know what anything is. But I'm willing to be shown. I'm willing to learn. That puts us in a completely different perspective. And then you're inviting the infinite to be part of that dream, that part of that illusion, and help you wake up. But, in this world, it takes time. Things take time in this world. That's part of three-dimensional reality. You can't have space without time. And so for people that want everything to happen instantaneously, that's just not going to happen here. Not until you get to the point where you don't want to live in this world anymore and you wake up to the truth about yourself. But, that takes time too for now. So you have to be where you are, honor where you are, honor where everybody else is, and you learn right with what's in front of you rather than trying to worry about the 144,000 people and all of that stuff. You just deal with what's in front of you and you allow the universe to take care of you on its terms. On its terms, not your ego's terms. So whatever it is that your issue is right in front of you, that is what the infinite can use to help you wake up. What you're dealing with right now, rather than necessarily lofty concepts, which is part of what the ego uses to keep us asleep. Because, a lot of times these ideas of theories and theories and theories that the ego comes up with is more 2 + 2 = 12, if we're not careful. So the infinite that I refer to is what the Psalms are calling the Lord. The Lord is simply a symbol for the one power, the one source, the one force in all of the universe. It's one. And it doesn't mean one separate from other gods, like a lot of people teach. It's the oneness of all creation. There is nothing but that power. There's only one life. There's only one mind. There's only one substance. It's all one. And we are like rays of light from a central star. And so, yes, we're individual, unique souls. That's part of creation. And it's wonderful. But it's different than being separated egos, which is what we are in this world. Separated egos are actually not unique at all. They're very much the same. The ego squashes uniqueness. Anyway, that I could go on and on, but hopefully that helped answer your question. All right, well, thank you so much for the wonderful questions. Oh, how do you not be hard on yourself? What about where you are? Well, you can be hard on yourself if that's what you want to do, but when a child is learning how to walk and they fall down, they're not usually hard on themselves. They just get up and start walking. Parents aren't usually hard on them. They just help them get back up, right? And so you're doing your best, right? You're doing your very best. And the whole idea of being hard on yourself is an ego-based thought. The infinite's never hard on you. The infinite's never anything other than, here, let me help you. I want to help you. But unfortunately for you, I've given you free will, so I can't help you unless you ask for it. So if you're going to be hard on yourself, it's just more indulging in the ego, because the ego is all about attack. And it'll attack you. It'll attack other people. It's how it works. It's attack. Defend, attack, defend, attack. The infinite doesn't defend or attack. The infinite is an extension of pure love. And that's ultimately what you are as well. So you can start with where you are and just, let yourself off the hook. So what? You make a mistake. Who doesn't? Who doesn't make a mistake? Remember Jesus when back in the old days, if somebody was a prostitute, they got to stone them to death. That was their law. And they were doing that. And Jesus said, okay, well, how about the rest of you that has anybody else ever made a mistake? If you've never made a mistake, then go ahead. I want to see you stone her. Now, of course, there's that old joke because his mother, Mary, was supposedly born without sin. So the joke is that he brought after the prostitute was brought in and they were going to stone her, and he says, wait, let ye who have no sin cast the first stone. And some stone just bops her right in the face. And he said, oh, mother, you're such a show-off. But anyway, that's just a joke. That's not real. All right. Thank you so much for being on here today. And we will see everybody over at the premiere. Thank you so much to the amazing moderators, Honey Paw and Shirley. And I think I saw Dre in here too. So thank you very much. And we'll see you in just a few minutes. Blessed be.